Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Jeff if you're new. In today's video, I'm going to war with scuds. Now, I brought them into the house on purpose and started to culture to feed my apistos, my bettas, my live bearers, my other cichlids, pretty much all the fish. What I didn't intend on is having it spread to other tanks that they shouldn't be, which are my Neocaridina shrimp tanks that are, basically non-fish tanks. They're just shrimp, some snails, maybe a pleco. But what the problem is the scuds will devour most all the plants, no matter how much I feed the tank. I can't keep moss in these tanks because they will eat it to nothing. The only thing that will survive is, like up in here, we got the hornwort, which grows extremely fast. And you'll even notice on that it gets stripped off quite a bit from these scuds. So what I decided to do is I added a micro predator to this tank. I know what you're thinking. Oh, it's a shrimp tank, Jeff. You don't want to do that. Well, you got to do something, okay? I had two choices. I could have caught all the shrimp out, which there's hundreds, and I wouldn't never get all of them out there. I can tell you that right now. There's just way too many. And on top of that, trying to get the shrimp out without the scuds would be nearly impossible. So I'd be taking them from this tank and putting them into another tank that I don't want them, having them getting entrenched in there, and then have, just spreading the problem around. So what I've decided to do is add a small micro predator into this tank. And I will take some shrimp losses, but I have an idea about it, and I'll explain to you when I turn the camera around. So the idea was to put a predator that was small enough not to eat the shrimp that are able to reproduce, that would be more apt to eat baby scuds because they're even smaller than the baby shrimp, and that would hopefully reduce more numbers of the scuds without being too much of a detriment to the shrimp. So, what did I choose? Okay. What I came up with, if I can find her here. Where are you at, girl? Right there she is. I chose one of my blue star antler females. She's extremely pregnant right now, and she will drop her fry in this tank. And as those fry grow in size, they're going to go after the small, tasty live foods, much like when I feed the baby brine shrimp and stuff like that. They're going to see those baby scuds, and they may go after some of the really tiny newborn shrimplets, but I think that they're going to do a better job reducing the scud numbers. It's kind of hard to keep her in focus. She's moving around so much. But I've already seen her eat a good amount of scuds since I added her to this tank. I've seen her actively chase down and hunt them. And she's quite stuffed right now. But guys, I want you to, in the comment section, if you could please, let me know what you would do if you wanted to try to get rid of the scuds, other than the drastic nuking of the tank. I would never want to do that. I mean, this tank is well established. Everything in here, as you can see, it's doing really well. This has been a very successful tank for me in the numbers of the Neocaridina shrimp, and I don't want to take that route just to do a complete wipe of the whole system, because it's just a waste. They're really not that bad of a problem, other than the fact that I don't like the fact that they eat all the moss that I put in this tank and other plants. Now, I don't mind the hornwort up here. it grows fast enough that it sustains itself and it continues to grow. I mean, this big bunch of hornwort up here, that's from a little piece I put in there about maybe 4 or 5 inches long, and it spans, well, probably 3/4 of the length of this 75 gallon or 55 gallon tank, which is the same length, 48 inches. But let me know what you would do. You think this is a wise decision I've made? If not, let me know, and I'll take everything under advisement. But I don't want to nuke this tank. I don't want to wipe out all the life in this tank just to get rid of a few scuds. Well, there's a lot of scuds, I should say. And this isn't the only tank that I need to do this with. They've made their way to the original 10-gallon tank too, which I'll show you that as well. This is the 10-gallon tank right here that all the shrimp that you see in the 55-gallon came from. I took 10 shrimp out of this tank and put over there. Well, the scuds have invaded this tank as well. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait and see what happens in the 55 before I add any more troops to the other tanks. I'm going to see how that pans out first, and then if I have success in the 55, then I'll bring them over here as well. But you can see here I had a lot of Java moss in this tank, and they ate all of it. And that is really a big problem when you try to raise shrimp. They really like it, and it stopped me from being able to do it. So let's check out another tank. My favorite, well, one of my favorite shrimp tanks, my Bloody Marys. Now, I'm really proud of this line of Bloody Marys. I got them from my friend Mark Shelley. I started out with 3 shrimp and I got a lot in there now. I also had a lot of really nice Java moss before the scuds made it in there. And as you can see here, I got a scud right up there in the center of the screen right now. It's kind of a little white dot. Well, not that big of a deal, like I say, but they are a pain when it comes to trying to keep moss and when you're trying to raise shrimp up. But these guys are doing good nonetheless, but I still need to figure out a way to decrease the numbers. So guys, what do you think of my plan? My battle with the scuds. I've never had to deal with anything like this before. I mean, it's not that big of a deal really. But I've been learning a lot from this live food culture that I brought into the house. If I had it to do over again, I probably would not. I'm not trying to talk anybody out of keeping scuds because they are a great food source. And depending on how this works out with my my plan of using the female Endler to reduce the numbers and maybe get things a little more under control, where I can actually add some moss and other plants that they won't eat. But I don't know. Something tells me that eventually I'm going to have to nuke the whole tank, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to try this and see how it works. So let me know what you guys would do if you've had any experience with scuds, how you would get rid of them. I mean, I've heard of people putting like little traps and they can get them out that way, you know, get some shrimp with it. But I can do I can attack this on multiple fronts, but I like using the natural approach. I mean, I like the idea of just throwing like a very tiny micro predator in there and letting them go to town and see how that goes. Because once she drops her fry, they will be, building a small army against those scuds. And yeah, I know I'll lose a few of the shrimplets too, no doubt about it. But I think that overall, it'll be a good thing. I think they'll take more of the scuds, is what I'm banking on. So let me know, and we'll catch y'all next time. Thanks, guys. Have a good one. Bye-bye.